Have you ever been scrolling through social media feeling perfectly fine until you saw that one person's photos and suddenly your own life felt smaller? Like something was missing that you didn't even know you wanted? What if I told you there's an ancient wisdom that explains why this happens, and more importantly, how to stop it? There was a shopkeeper named Wei who lived above his store in a small village. Wei had everything he thought he needed: a loving wife, 2 healthy children, and a business that kept food on the table. Yet every single day felt like a weight on his chest. When his wife prepared breakfast in silence, lost in her own morning thoughts, Wei would feel a familiar ache. "She should smile when she sees me," he would think. "Doesn't she know I work only for her happiness?" From his shop window, he watched the tea house across the narrow street fill with laughter and conversation. The owner there seemed blessed by fortune itself. "Why do they prosper while I struggle?" Wei wondered. "What have I done to deserve less?" When his children would come home after school, he'd think, "I give them everything," he told himself, "yet they give me nothing in return." Wei carried these thoughts like stones in his pockets, growing heavier with each passing day. One evening, an old woman entered Wei's shop just before closing time. She moved slowly, her weathered hands carefully examining his goods. She selected only a small portion of rice, counting her coins twice before placing them on the wooden counter. As Wei prepared her purchase, she studied his face with eyes that seemed to hold the wisdom of many seasons. "You are searching," she said softly. Wei looked up, startled. "I'm not searching for anything. I have what I need." The woman smiled with the gentleness of someone who had learned life's hardest lessons. "You are searching for something you already possess, but in the wrong places. You dig for water while standing beside a well." Wei's hand stilled. "I don't understand." "A farmer plants seeds in his own field," she continued. "But you have planted the seeds of your contentment in other people's gardens. Every day you return to these distant fields, wondering why nothing grows for you there." The words settled into Wei like rain into thirsty earth. For the first time, he saw clearly. He had been a beggar at the doors of hearts that were not his own, asking for gifts that only he could give himself. The woman's eyes twinkled as she gathered her rice. "The treasure you seek has always been buried in your own soul, my friend." Here's what the old woman understood that Wei didn't. Happiness isn't a service that others provide for you. It's not a subscription that your family, friends, or customers are supposed to maintain. Think about it this way: your emotions are like a radio inside your chest. For years, you've been handing the remote control to everyone around you, then getting frustrated when they don't play your favorite song. But here's the truth that will change everything. You were born with that remote in your hands. When you expect others to create your happiness, you become like a boat without an anchor, tossed around by every wave of someone else's mood, every shift in their attention. But when you take responsibility for your own emotional state, you become the lighthouse, a beacon not just for yourself, but for others too. That night, Wei could not sleep. The woman's words echoed like a temple bell in his mind. When dawn came, he rose and looked at his life with new eyes. Instead of watching his wife for signs of the joy she should give him, he chose to be the first to smile. Instead of envying the tea house owner, he arranged his spices with care and greeted each customer as if they were an honored guest in his home. Instead of waiting for his children to show gratitude, he asked them about their dreams. The transformation was not like lightning striking stone. It was like water slowly changing the shape of the riverbank, gentle, persistent, inevitable. After a while, his wife began lighting up when she saw him. Customers started choosing his shop over others, and his children began coming to him. Not because he demanded it, but because his energy had shifted. Years passed, and Wei's understanding deepened like roots seeking water. He learned that peace comes not from controlling how others feel about us, but from accepting how we choose to feel about ourselves. When his wife had difficult days and spoke little, Wei offered tea without expecting smiles in return. When customers chose other shops, he used their absence as a teacher, asking what he might improve rather than why they had abandoned him. When his children forgot to say thank you, he showed them gratitude through his own actions, trusting that seeds planted with patience bloom in their own season. The old woman never returned to Wei's shop, but her lesson lived in every sunrise that followed. He discovered something that felt like magic, but was simpler than breathing. When you stop asking the world to make you happy, you remember that you were born knowing how to be. Your joy was never meant to be held hostage by another's mood. Your peace was never supposed to depend on someone else's approval. Your worth was never a prize to be won through perfect service to others' expectations. The person you have been waiting for, the one who will finally understand you completely, appreciate you fully, love you exactly as you deserve, lives closer than your own shadow. They have been there all along, patient as the earth beneath your feet, constant as your own heartbeat. You are not waiting to be rescued by love. You are love learning to recognize itself. What's one expectation you've been placing on others for your happiness? Share it in the comments below. Sometimes naming it is the first step to reclaiming your power. And if this story resonated with you, share it with someone who might need to hear it too.